Hi, everybody. It is Sunday, November 27th. And yeah, I'm just going to do another quick video. I mean, there's so much to talk about, and there's no way I can cover it, all the stuff that I know, let alone I'm still learning a bunch of stuff out there. But yeah, I'll just kind of share some of the updates I've got so far. And I guess kind of what it boils down to is trying to simplify this as much as I can. But because we are being used, farmed, manipulated, controlled, we've got help from off-planet entities, as well as a lot of good, positive people here on Earth that are trying to free us from this control system. Now, this control system is so well established. They play the long game because they've been doing this for thousands of years. Well, a lot longer than that too. But just with Earth alone, yeah, tens of thousands of years. They've been controlling. They want to control Earth, and they're doing a pretty good job of it. But we've basically, we're going to put an end to that. So as you know, that's kind of the stage we're at right now. And so the people that are helping us, what I mean by that is like the people on Earth, human beings that are trying to help break us free of this, they needed more help than just, because we're playing with, not playing with, but because we're fighting entities that are based, they're off-world entities that are here and also out there. We needed to get help from off-planet entities, positive off-planet entities, as well as working with positive people on Earth. So that there's just this collaboration of trying to break us free from this. And the problem is because this is such a long drawn out game, the controllers have used to their advantage of being able to sort of rewrite history and hide things that'll kind of wake us up to what's going on. So there's a lot of hidden truths, hidden history. There's a lot of hidden technology. There's a lot of stuff that they realize if we caught on to this stuff, that we were going to not only question the narrative that we're living in, but also it'll give us the spark to really start waking up and realizing there's better ways of doing things. And so where we're at is, from what I'm just going to tell you, kind of from what the perspective of what I'm understanding, how this is rolling out, is at least probably over 2 or 4 years ago, they've decided to, what I mean by they is the good guys that are fighting for us, along with us, because we're helping out too, including off-world entities that are helping us, have decided to do this a slow wake-up, because they've run scenarios where they've done kind of shocking people, and I guess the collateral damage is too much. So they realize, okay, let's do this, let's do a slow wake-up version. Now, I know that kind of bugs a lot of us that are awake, because it's like, well, I already get what's going on. I just want this solution. I want this to be fixed. But as you know, it's not about just us that are already kind of figuring things out. Even at that, I'm still learning a lot of stuff. Like, wow, this is run a lot deeper and a lot more complicated than I first thought. But anyway, so because we're doing this slow rollout, it's more of a gentle waking people up. And how they've decided to do it is, and in previous videos I did this years ago, is talking about human beings in particular. We have to see it to believe it. if you're told something, it's like, okay, did you know that they robbed that bank and they dug a hole underneath the bank, whatever. That's okay if I told a story about it. But if I showed you physical proof in photographs and I documented it, then it's like, okay, wow, now I totally believe what you're saying. Human beings are like that. Well, I guess it's just basic logic too, because we don't want to just off the cuff believe everything. We want proof of stuff. So the best way for people to understand that is to be shown what's going on. So what they've kind of done was let the bad guys play out their game plan for enslaving human beings. And because they're pretty smart, they really are, they've really covered their bases over, let me put it this way, hundreds of years for the reality that we're in right now. And they realized, okay, we're going to have to hide parts of history that's going to, give us a clue what's going on. So they got to hide that. They've got to control the media. They've got to control the education system. They got to control the judicial system. They got whatever. So it's all about control. And believe me, it makes you ask the question, well, why? But that, believe me, is a huge video in itself, and I can't really go into it too much right now. I know why they're doing that, but to explain it here, there's no way. I don't have time. And also, I'm still being censored, so I have to be careful of what topics I bring up. But what I was going to touch on today was how good people get caught up in this. And what it boils down to is because we're raised in captivity, we believe what we're taught. So we believed what we're taught in school, and we don't know any better. Unless you start questioning it and you try to find an alternative explanation for things. But most people are not like that. Because we're very social creatures. We want to fit into society, and our controllers know that too, so they take advantage of that. They know that we all want to kind of fit in together and believe the same thing, watch the same TV shows, have a lot in common. So they use that to their advantage. So it's like once they've controlled the media and the education system, they've basically have been controlling this narrative of this reality that we think that we're in. And good people get caught up in it because they buy into it. It's like, well, why would they lie? That's what they said on TV, and that's what my teacher told me. So there's no way. And there's some guy out of nowhere saying, well, listen, I did a lot more research and I found out that actually that's not true. What we were taught, we were actually taught. Again, when someone says that, you're going to go, well, show me the proof. What are you talking? Where'd you get your information from? And especially with people like me, whereas I'm being told from off planet, they're relaying information to me that sounds really unbelievable according to the narrative that we're living. So to me, and I'm thinking, well, I don't really have a lot of proof of that, what they're saying, that there's a kind of a control system that's run by off-planet negative entities, from the Draco system or whatever. This sounds really bizarre. But even for me, when I hear that, I look it up. It's like, well, I'll do research and find out. Is anybody else saying this stuff, or is it just me? So anyway, long story short, how good people get caught up in this is they buy into it. And one of the latest things that they bought into is this lie of we're destroying the environment. Well, we are a little bit. I'm just saying, I can go on about that. And, we're running out of resources and things like that. So we've got to get the population down. We've been shown that. They've got graphs about that. Our so-called scientists have been teaching us that narrative for, well, not that long. Let's say, 60, 80 years or something in the bigger scheme of things. But it's just that a lot of people bought into that, including me. I got to admit, I thought, wow, we're all of us human beings, we're getting overpopulated. We have to control our population somehow. Well, the people that have set this up as we know who they are now. They're making themselves obvious, and that's why I'm staying away from the actual words of things. But you get the gist of it. So they realized, okay, well, what we're going to try to do is get this population down. So it's almost like there's this, not only do they do these secret meetings and they, the G7 companies, countries come together and they have these meetings, and they make these backdoor, not only deals and stuff, but they have this narrative. It's like somehow I've got to get this population down. So they're thinking to themselves, well, and obviously this has been planned for a long time, but it's like, well, okay, what would be the best way to do that other than starting wars? Because they've been using the manipulation of using war, starting wars around the world forever. But this latest plan that they thought is how are we going to get people to I don't know, maybe the best way would be to have some sort of, I'm not to say the word, but anyway, a pandemic that takes out all these people. Okay, well, as you know, they've been, or you figured out by now, they've been figuring out ways of doing that with these underground laboratories with these bioweapons for decades, and they're trying to find a way to make it so it isn't too obvious. And then I thought, well, okay, if we can't take them out necessarily with that, what we could do is give them a solution of saying maybe if we inject something into you, it'll be the cure. But in reality, it's more of the same thing. And a lot of us that caught on to that were going, well, listen, that doesn't make a lot of sense if we haven't really narrowed down what exactly people have during this flu season, that the flu season disappeared and people are getting sick, just like regular flu. But now they're going to offer you something that they're not, first of all, they're not going to tell you what's inside that little needle, as well as, there's no proof that it's going to help you out at all. But anyway, so they get caught up in this huge campaign using the media in particular to promote this. And it's like, and human beings are really easily manipulated when you get them scared. It's just absolutely just almost like corralling animals. Like if you shoot guns off, whatever, and you try to herd people into a corral, that's how you do it. You scare them into it. So human beings are easily scared into it, and especially if you've got the power of the media and all these people that are promoting it. It's like, well, they need to buy into it. The sad part about that, and I'm going back to what I was trying to say earlier, is even good people get caught up in this. They don't mean to be doing bad things, but they're falling for the narrative. So they're, whether it's a doctor or a nurse or whatever, they think they're doing the right thing, but they don't realize they're on the wrong side of history, because they're just doing what they're told. They haven't ever had time to research it, and the ones that do figure it out, they're going, wow, what am I doing? I got to get out of this. So you got good people getting caught up in doing bad things, but it's not really their intention. They're not evil people or something. The plan is diabolical and very evil, but the way they roll it out and make it sound, obviously that's the best way to do it, to make it sound like it's a positive or good thing, because that's why people will fall for it. Anyway, I can go on forever, but I'm just saying that's kind of the problem is we're all susceptible for falling for these lies, and it takes a pretty sharp mind or someone that is a critical thinker. There's a lot of people out there that are very similar to me. It's like I just question everything, and I'm realizing now why I question everything is because I came here with that in mind, going, this earth is, there's something wrong here. I gotta try to figure it out. But for people that are waking up, it's like, okay, yeah, we're catching on to it. But it's also hard to convince people that old reality is not true. So that's kind of where we're at right now. And that's why the people that are helping us with this have decided to roll it out slowly, because they realized, well, it took a long time to get get ourselves into this trouble of falling for all these lies. So they said, let's do it. If it's slow to get in, let's slowly get them out. Because if it's too sudden, it's just people are going to freak out. And they like I said, they've run scenarios going, okay, we got to find more subtle ways of doing this. But the best way to do it is to show people rather than tell them. So that's what we're living out right now. They're showing it and they're exaggerating it to make it really obvious to people that are going, wait a minute, that just doesn't make sense. Like to us, it's like, yeah, that didn't make sense 8 years ago, but you guys are just figuring it out now. It's like, wait a minute, that just doesn't make sense. Yeah, I know. That's what we're trying to tell you guys. So that's the stage we're at right now. It's like I said, it's in flux. So like how long this will take for them, I mean, I know it's coming soon. They're also trying different events and different things to shake people up, but not too crazy, but just enough to show, how obvious it is that we're being controlled. That's kind of where we're at right now. They're showing people that. So that's my short update for today. And we're all susceptible to falling for these scams, so we have to really be careful and be really on guard. But anyway, okay, I also want to end with a positive note, as in like, yeah, we are winning. This is really coming to a conclusion really soon. So, but that's my little short video for today. Okay, I'll talk to you guys later.